fondamentale. Et maintenant, M. Jean-Paul Guevara Avila pour un point de vue dit du Sud.
Ok. Merci Thierry. Merci Thierry. Et merci pour l'Institut français de Relations internationales. I'm going to speak on English, please. Thank you very much for the invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that Pierre has made a very good, has shown us a very good framework about the phenomena of migration. And as I must say that talking about migration is, in the world policy and global governance, has many risks. One can be so specific that can lose ourselves in the analysis of many individual experiences, or can be so general that can fall in abstract situations and in the irrelevance of data. I will try to overcome those risks by linking some reflections to some basic facts of cross-border migration. One first basic fact that I would like to underline is that the world cross-border migration is part of the global world. I mean that the globalization is not only a technological or communicational revolution, like we were told this morning, but it's also the human mobility and the capacity of transport and translation of population. So we cannot talk about globalization without mentioning the world migration. And here we face our first problem, because we are dealing with this phenomena with a pre-globalization vision. We are dealing with it like a national demographic or economical phenomena, and not with its political dimensions and its influence in global governance. But the cross-border and overseas migrations are part of the global world, not only for the human mobility, but also because it makes the world more global. I mean this in two senses. First, it makes us live and share, even if we haven't asked for it, the diverse cultures of the world. And when we live within this diversity, we have to learn to be tolerant, or as I prefer to say, we have to learn to respect and value the diversity. In second place, it shows us, the migration shows us the inequity that is behind the globalization. Just one example, which is not the worst. Life expectancy in Canada is 5 years higher than in Mexico. And we are talking about more or less neighborhood countries, not to mention the differences in incomes. As the last UNDP report, is the first report about migration, says more than 3/4 of the international migrants go to a country with higher level of human development than their country of origin. By showing these inequities, we must understand the need to try to equilibrate these differences. Not one way of doing this is through the financial transfers or the revenues. And the other one, it could be via compensation from one state to another. And I am using the word compensation and not cooperation. We should have to start talking about compensation, because there is a very high price that our states have to pay in the South to improve the migrants' skills. And I say compensation also because, and this is the second basic fact, the global economy and mainly the economy of post-industrial countries, need the support of migrant labor force. These economies could not function without the low cost of the migrant work, but also because the migratory labor force compensate the demographic discrepancy in countries of the north, where we found a big proportion of older population and a small proportion of the population that is in a productive age. And this leads me to the third basic fact. The way we are tackling the migration problem at global level, it's not sustainable in the short time. All the government-imposed barriers have not stopped migration flows, but instead, they have only made migrants more vulnerable and have encouraged irregular movements and smuggling, feeding between the criminal organizations that commerce with human beings. Finally, the fourth basic fact, it's more a personal idea. There will not be full globalization with a visage humain, like we were told this morning, not full global governance until we do not recognize the right of every person to decide where to live and to have the capacity to demand the full respect for his or her human rights. Thank you very much.